All right, shalom, shalom. First things first, I'm going to give honor and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. We say, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Barakati Yahweh, Barakati Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. And we give double honor to our apostles and our elders, which are the apostle elders, a great millstone, which feeds us with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, 2025, which is the hopeful year of our deliverance and the judgment and the destruction of Esau. Let's jump right into this lesson. This lesson is going to be titled The Appian Way, Rome All Over Again. U.S. is Rome coming back, the Appian Way. All right, the U.S. is Rome coming back, the Appian Way. Of the Appian Way. Let's see here. This is more pictures of it.
They're dead outside the city, lining this historic road with grand mausoleums. Notables like Emperor Gallienus, Romulus, the young son of Emperor Maxentius, and the philosopher Seneca all found their final rest along this route. Also,
you can see certain of the things dealing with the Appian Way. I just wanted to bring that out first, but the main point is here because that you see U.S. Babylon the Great, what we know as America today, has its roots, and it's because this is the Roman Empire coming back again to serve out the last leg of it, the deadly wound that was healed. So there's certain similarities because just like history repeats itself. Why does history repeat itself? Because the people that were in that part of history, those that took place in that time frame in history, are actually back again. Same thing with the prophets, same thing with those that were in the generation in the time of Yahushai are back now again, and to serve out that punishment, the judgment, or that blessing and that salvation. The same, I always been saying this a lot, when Yahushua told the wicked Sadducees and Pharisees, because they didn't accept him being the Messiah. Some knew that he was the Messiah, but didn't accept him to be the Messiah. He said that you shall see me come with the thousands of angels. And that didn't take place in the time of the Roman Empire. Yahushua was called up in a cloud, which we believe through the spirit and power of Yahushua, starting with our apostles and elders, have taught us that that cloud would have had to been a chariot, a so-called UFO today, a flying object. They didn't know the word plane did not exist. Only things that were known to fly were insects and birds. So they didn't have anything to compare it to seeing what we would have today in our language and our terminology. So Yahushua went up in a cloud and did not return with the thousands of angels in that time period. Because just the same way that Yahushua said that there had to be a falling away first. So that falling away first took place with us, losing, going back to the prophecy of 70 AD, Vespasian, Titus, and Domitian. Those were key players, key figures in his history dealing with the fall of Jerusalem, fall of the temple, okay? And he said that if you see the abomination that make a desolate, flee. If you on the rooftops, don't come down. You get out of Dodge. So when did that take place? When that prophecy was given? Because Yahushua was given that prophecy to say that they would see him come with the thousands of angels. So when is that taking place? That's taking place now in the time that we're living in. So that generation is back here today. We don't know who they are, but they would know about this truth. They would have themselves as players in this truth, just like they were players in the time of Yahushua. So let's jump into this. I asked the question to chat. I said, the Appian Way in the U.S. highway system, a comparative analyst of ancient and modern transportation networks. Okay, and this is what it gave me. It says the Appian Way via Appia of ancient Rome and the United States highway system represents two of history's most significant transportation networks, separated by millennia but united in their transformative impact on their respective civilizations. So the Lord is so cold blooded that not just the people reincarnate, the nation reincarnates, the things the nations did reincarnate. Just we have the Colosseums, okay? That's another comparison. The stadiums you have today are more on a grander scale than they were back in the time of the Roman Empire, even going back to the time of Pompey, Vespasian, Titus, going back to was the first one. The first Caesar, name escapes me right now, but Nero did a lot of construction when it came to the amphitheaters and those things because it's called, the saying we say today is called bread and circus entertainment. They would feed the people bread, okay? Same thing you see happening today when you go to these auditoriums, these shows. They're just another version of what was going on back then. Julius Caesar, Salakia, I just, the Wadi Abashim Yashad, the name came to me. So the same thing that happened back then is happening today. And I just showed you with the supposed ample theaters and the stadiums we have today are the same thing, where people gather to watch gladiatorial games. And Jake took that over too. Jake was in it. So Jake took over and gained traction and gained a foothold in the kingdom of Rome, of the Roman Empire. So it's being practiced today. Same thing that you see today. Just like the example with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan can jump into politics, he'll probably go far. Why is that? Because he has a lot of notoriety and a lot of clout, a lot of celebrity status. So the gladiatorial games had the same thing. If you were a good player, a good warrior, good fighter, a good strategist, or good at anything that you did on the stadium, because they had different shows. They had track races, okay? They had different shows, but it wasn't just like now. Even now, certain of the stadiums, they double as baseball fields, double as football fields, and then double as other different sports. They can use the same field. They'll just change up the outline of the field. So back then in Rome, it was the same thing, but instead of having multiple stadiums, they would change around the stadium to fit the game that was being played. It says separated by millennia, but united in their transformational impact on their receptive respective civilizations. This comprehensive comparison explores the construction, engineering, historical context, military significance, economic roles, and lasting legacies. Okay, the historical context, the origins, Appian Way, commissioned by Rome and censor Salakia, commissioned by the Roman censor Appius Claudius Caecus in the 312 BC during the Second Shemite War. The Appian Way was Rome's first major strategic military road. Its initial 132 mile stretch connected Rome and Capua, addressing critical military supply chain challenges during the Roman conflict with the Shemonites. It says the road construction marked a turning point in Rome military logistics, enabling rapid troop movement and secure supply lines across previous impassable marshland. Okay? Appius Claudius A populist political system or seeking the bolster of reputation undertook the ambition project alongside Rome's first aqueduct. What does that say? Aquia Appia. If I'm pronouncing that right, forgive me. Without waiting for Senate approval, the road successes in the Shemanite War led to its extensive extension to Bredicia in 244 BC, creating a 362 miles highway. See? Highway. That's the key part. That became Rome's gateway to Greece and to the east. So just like the highway came about, you had a change in the Roman system because the transportation made it easier. It had a lot of benefits, okay, from when they had before. Instead of just going and walking and sending your troops out, they had a road to walk. They had a clear-cut path, okay? So it says, Appius Claudius, a populist political and seeking to bolster his reputation, undertook his ambitious project alongside Rome's first what is that? Aqueduct. Without the Senate's approval, let's go down here. U.S. highway system, 20th century. Now let's fast forward to the highway system. The U.S. transportation network evolved through several phases. Easy automobile era, because you had the automobile, so the road had to be put. You had to put the automobile on the road, because the tires back then weren't, they weren't dependable. They were there, they were usable, proof of concept to make the car work, but they weren't reliable on going on all different types of terrain. It says easy automobile era, 1926. Initially, America relied on a patchwork of named auto trails, like the Lincoln Highway marked the inconsistence by private organization. U.S. numbered highway system. The Federal Aid Highway Act of 1925 created a standardized or standardized numbering system for interstate routes administered by state but coordinated nationally. All right, verse 3, it says, interstate highway system inspired by Ellen Hoover, or President Eisenhower, World War II experiences with Germany's Autobahn and his 1919 cross-country military convoy, which took 62 days to travel 320 miles. The Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956 established a modern interstate system. Okay, this 114 billion dollar project equivalent to $618 billion today. So look how much the money's jumped up. You had something that was 114 billion project to 618 billion. That's a markup that show you inflation. Okay, created 448,860 miles of controlled access freeway with uniform national standards. So that's showing you that the things that Esau was doing back then, he's doing today. That's why he made the highway system and he produced it, because that's something that he did back then. Okay, we don't know the deep roots of who really put this down on the road, but there would have to be those that came back and they're serving out that same purpose. Okay, engineering and construction. Appian Way, it says Roman engineers employed sophisticated multi-layered construction techniques, ensuring remarkable durability. And I showed you that on Instagram. The Appian Way was well constructed. It wasn't just, it was cobblestones, but they placed it on the right. They pretty much ensured that it would last, because now it's a UNESCO site. That's what the word I was looking for earlier, UNESCO site. Okay, these are the foundations, the stones that they use, the dimensions. This is U.S. engineering. Okay, the U.S. engineering followed the same type of path. but we're not going to look at all those. Economic and social impact. Appian Way economic effects transformed Brinsde in Roman's primary port, facilitating trade with Greece and the East. Annual wheat transport alone, 435,446 tons, recouped construction costs within 1.5 years. So it paid itself back. Just like now, the highway that's paid itself back already with commerce and everything else that passed it, with semi trucks, all these things, postage, all those things have covered it. But they're using money for other means, enabling standardized trade across Italy with goods like gold, silver, iron flowing to Rome. Same thing you see going with the stock market, okay? Because Babylon deals with all these things, and the world deals with it through what? Babylon's stock market, becoming a cultural a tier with ghosts of past soldiers, merchants, pilgrims traversed for centuries. U.S. highways economies effect carried 25% of all U.S. vehicles miles by 2022, enabled sub-precision and car-centric development patterns, displaced over 1 million people during construction, disproportionately affected urban communities. Cost was 114 billion initially, equivalent to 618 billion today, but transformed America's commerce. Okay. Let's see the comparison table. It says features: Appian Way, 312 BC, U.S. highway system, 20th century. Military supply during Semite War, military mobility, and civil transportation. See, construction in time, 312 to 264 BC, 52 years for main sections, 1956 to 1992, 36 years for initial system. Later, length, the other one was a little bit longer. But the main point is there that the Appian Way is something that was used in the time of Rome. A lot of us have went into this issue before, but the thing speaks because it shows you that this is Rome coming back again. Because what's the chances that America was known for its highway system? It was known for having that innovation, but then turn around the Appian Way, which Rome embarked on that as a mild wartime act or wartime a strategy, and then turned around to be extended to over what? How many miles? The length is 362 miles. So back then, having a road that was 362 miles, that was a big deal. Okay. They increased it. They increased it in number and volume. And that's what we have today. So it looks like that's it on that. I'm not going to hold it too much. But let's get these precepts. It's the book of Revelation. Let's see here. There we go. This is the book of Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 9. And it reads, let's read in Amplified, that which has been is that which will be again. Same thing. In the time of Rome, that place was set up, fell down. Jake took it over, which are Negroes. Okay, Latinos, Native Americans took that area over, or they were dispersed. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans were dispersed. Okay, the northern tribe went into the Assyrian captivity. Judah went into the Babylonian captivity. Okay, we had a separation, and then what? You had the nation of Judah, which is Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. They were still in the land, maintaining until they were taken down too. But the main point is that we have a guard and we have a savior, which is Yahweh Shem Yahushua. It's not anything else. Okay? And it says, again, and that which has been done is that which will be done again, because history repeats itself. So it's just like the Lord is judging Rome back then because it's back here today. It's the same Rome. Just the same way Esau lost his blessing. How did Esau lose his blessing truly? Because he was a murderer, man. He killed his brother Abel. So he came back, and Cain and Abel as Jacob and Esau, if you can believe it. Okay, but Abel got the upper hand this time. Okay, that was the payback from the way back. Okay, so let's read this in NLT. It says, history merely repeats itself. It has all been done before, nothing under the sun truly. So how does it repeat itself? It repeats itself by the way the people, the actions, the things that you can relate to that past place. That's how you can tie everything in. And you filter it through the scriptures because it's telling you that there's no new thing under the sun. There's nothing that's new. Okay? This is Revelations 13 and 13. This is Revelations 13 and verse 3, Salakia. In the NLT, it says, I saw that one of the heads of the beast seemed wounded beyond recovery, but the fatal wound was healed. The whole world marveled at this miracle and gave allegiance to the beast. And you got to know that the MOTB is coming from the beast. That's why the NATO, when they started their thing, it was called the Treaty of Rome. Okay? It was called the Treaty of Rome. So they were attesting their power and who they were glorifying through that treaty. And then you see it today. And that's the beast system, which is headed. And that's why it says the woman that sat upon the scarlet colored beast. The woman that sat on the beast with scarlet colors, that's showing you that America is the unofficial head of NATO. So the prophecy was right on point. It didn't miss nothing. It says that the woman, which we know is Babylon the Great, that was dressed in all pearls, decadence, she was decked out. That touches into the stock market. Because what is traded in U.S. is the world reserve currency, their king. That's why you had this situation with Trump. He's getting mad at these other nations because he says they're trying to take away the dominance of the dollar. When something rides something, that means it's tamed it. If you ride a wild horse, okay, the horse is going to try to buck you off. Okay, it's going to try to throw you off because it doesn't want to be rid or it doesn't know you. But this woman was pictured riding on the beast. So that means that the beast was tamed by the woman. If you riding something, that means you're directing it, you're leading it, just like you have the reins to a horse. That means you are the one that is controlling the way that the horse moves. So Babylon the Great, okay, which was pictured as that woman by John the Revelator on the Isle of Patmos, he gave us a clear vision. He was given a clear vision of the world to come in a way that he could write it down. But we're here today through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shai, starting with our apostles and elders, to break it down to you. That woman was sitting on the beast. Why? Because she was dominant over that beast. She tamed that beast. Okay? So that beast was following her command. That just like when you ride a horse, you ride a car, you ride a bike, you the one controlling the bike don't go where it wants to go. The beast don't go where it wants to go. That's why they're putting their foot down. They're telling, oh, we're going to give Russia weapons, but it's going to be through NATO. So they're showing you that this beast is usurping its power over these other nations. Okay? And it says, and I saw that one of the heads of the beast seemed wounded beyond recovery, but the fatal wound was healed. The whole world marveled at the miracle and gave allegiance to the beast. Amplified. I saw one of the heads which seemed to have a fatal wound, but the fatal wound was healed, and the entire world followed after the beast in amazement. Okay? That's what you see taking place now. That's why these other nations are now rebelling against Babylon, but that's all in prophecy. But they were once using the dollar, even the greatest adversaries, the nuclear nations. They were using the financial system that Babylon has today. Okay? And this is the book of Revelation 1 and verse 7. It says that, look, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, even those who pierced him. And who pierced him? The guard, the centurion. So Yahushua is coming down, and the power structure that was ruling in the time of his crucifixion is going to be ruling today. So that's how this place ain't going down without Yahushua coming and doing what he's doing, because that would negate the prophecy. They would have to come back up again and be in power, just like they were in power in the time when Yahushua was put on that cross. So now they got to pay now when he's coming down to take them from their power. Okay? And it says, even those who pierced him and all the people of the earth will mourn because of him, so shall it be. Amen. Okay? Wow. Let's see here. Amplified. Behold, he is coming with the clouds. And I said that earlier with the Sadducees and Pharisees, the wicked ones, that Yahushua told them that you're going to see me come. You're going to see me come down in glory. So those men would have to be in the same empire that's going to see Yahushua coming down, which is the Roman Empire coming back again. So they're reincarnated. The Roman Empire is reincarnated. So is the disciples. So is the men that followed Yahushua. That goes back into the 5 wise and foolish virgins, those that took the oil. So if you took the oil, when would you have grabbed the oil? In the time of Yahushua was on the scene. In the belief of Yahushua, that's a part of the oil. Okay? That's why it says, if you knock, I will knock at the door, and he opened, I will come in and I will sup with him. Okay? But you got to have the address. The address is given through the Lord by what? Those that he's been been given to him by the Heavenly Father. That's why he says, those that thou hast given me. And it says, let's read it again. Behold, he is coming with the clouds, and every eye will see him, even those who pierced him, and all the tribes, the nations of the earth will mourn over him, realizing their sin and the guilt in anticipating the coming wrath. So it is to be. Amen. So the same thing is that the coming wrath is the chariots. They ain't coming to play games. They're not coming to talk light work. That's why they're going to fight and go against the Lord, because the Lord is going to be he's coming aggressive. All right. He's coming in as a force. That's why it says the saints shall take the kingdom. He's not coming in to plead and talk over some hot plate. All right. It's laying down the law, and he's taking his elect, and he's destroying this place and establishing the kingdom of heaven on the plains to come. All right. On the earth to come. Okay. That's the main point. So that's showing the comparison between the Roman Empire, the Appian Way, in America today. All right, the clear cut showing you that Babylon the Great is America coming back, Rome coming back in the reincarnation, and it's set for judgment, man. All right, so Lord willing, I'm going to leave it there. I just wanted to bring that out. I looked that up, and I found that interesting. Okay, so look up the Appian Way if you want to dive into it a little bit more. So with that, I say, call halal Yahweh. Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rachak Wadash. Until the next time, I say shalom, and more out and never keep faith. Shalom.